What's up, everyone? Thank you for checking out and supporting this episode of Raised A Geek. This week, we're diving deep into some of the most talked about games of 2024. We'll be giving our first impressions of Astro Bot and the much-anticipated Black Ops 6 beta. Plus, we'll be discussing the rise and rapid fall of Concord, the sci-fi hero shooter that fizzled out just weeks after launch. What went wrong, and what can we learn from it? Let's find out. I'm Chris, and as always, I'm here with my buddy, Don. How we doing, man?
Chris, what is up today, my friend? Everything is okay. Cannot complain too much on this September weekend.
I got my Oktoberfest out. So I picked up a bunch of Oktoberfests I do enjoy. I'm glad Oktoberfest is one of those like seasonal things. I wouldn't drink it all year, but when it shows up, I'm like, we'll grab a six of some Oktoberfest and give it a drink.
Yes, I'm with you. And they've been out for a little while. So even since last month, I was seeing them in August. And it's still just like, even now, September, it's still like 70, 80 degrees outside.
90.
I'm like, it's too early for Oktoberfest. But then like, when should you start? October 1st? Is that the official day when I should have my first Oktoberfest? But I know what you mean. Like when it's too warm, because an Oktoberfest beer is also like darker bodied, like more a little heavier than like light summer stuff you're used to. But I'm like, it's still 80. I feel like I should still be drinking light, breezy ales.
Just turn down the AC. Just turn down the AC and it'll be okay. It'll be okay. But yes, I know. I went to the grocery store yesterday and I was buying all the pumpkin stuff. I had like pumpkin donuts and Oktoberfest beer and pumpkin cream, like cold foam to put on top of coffee, which tasted mint, and I'm never going to eat it. Tried it this morning and I was like, this tastes like mint. This is disgusting. I scooped it out and now I have a whole ready whip thing full of pumpkin mint.
Weird.
It was weird.
I'm not a fan of mint foods, like in foods, ice cream or tea or whatever. Like,
oh yeah, I got pumpkin pie ice cream too. Forgot.
Start calling you the Pumpkin Man, Pumpkinhead Chris.
Pumpkin Man Chris. Love it. But yes, I'm sitting here like I want to watch like Hocus Pocus and Halloween movies, and
we're getting there.
I know. It'll be here before we know it. But yes, I'm looking at football starting. I was sitting there yesterday watching football, had my I always want to say Heffenweisen, but that's not right. My Oktoberfest. Gonna do some grilling. Yeah, just favorite time of year. It's September, October is the best. Once we get past Halloween, then it turns into Christmas, and I hate everything until January.
I like everything about this time of year too. I agree with you, except for the spiders that start appearing in my house because it starts getting cold outside, and I live in a wooded area, and I have arachnophobia, and it's not fun. Hate spiders. Worst bug. Where's my worst bug?
Yeah.
You got a worst bug?
No. One that's on me?
No. Yeah, okay.
As long as it's not on me, I don't care. Yeah. I'm a catch and release person, so I'm always catching bugs in the house and tossing them.
But how do you catch a fast spider who's just gonna run and then you're gonna lose it and then not
like a paper and you scoop it up and then run fast out of the house before it crawls onto your hand?
Fuck no, dude. Spiders are getting stomped.
No, spiders, honestly, unless they're actively bothering me, I usually just leave them. I had one that lived in my shower for like a month.
You just made me want to barf.
And then he moved down by my drain. He was up in the corner, and I was like, just stay there. And I would take showers and just look at the spider. And then, I mean, it was like a little itty-bitty baby one.
Just watch him, like, washing himself, like, with you. Like, shower time, Chris.
He was my shower time friend. And then he moved down to the drain. So the spider set up a web, like, right in front of the drain. And I went to go turn on the water, and I was like, oh, no. I'm going to murder you if I turn on this water. So then I got a little bin and I took him outside, and he probably died because of exposure because he was so comfy living. But yeah, I don't kill bugs if I can help it unless they're on me. If they're on me, then my natural instinct is murder.
I think I have to not do this episode anymore. I think I have to
stop.
Done? I might be done. I don't know if I can tolerate this. I've known you since we were 5 years old, and this is the first time I've ever heard you catch and release spiders. No. You squash them where they stand. Shit. Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah. You learn something every day. Even
learn
about
something
your friend,
every day.
Your friend for 35 years. You even learn new things about them as you go.
Well, we learned a lot about video games this week.
Yeah.
We learned about their failures and we've learned about their successes. Sony PlayStation has had both of those in just the past week and literally happening on the same day. Concord died yesterday on Friday, and Astro Bot rose from its ashes.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to talk about all of them and throw a little Black Ops beta in there as well, just to kind of throw some first impressions. I know a lot of people out there know we do talk about video games. We don't always get to pod about them, so we wanted to kind of decided a lot was happening. So first, we were going to talk about Concord, because Concord, for those that don't know, was a 5v5 hero shooter that was announced last year. The game has been in production for 8 years. They announced it last year, and then this March at a State of Play for Sony, they basically dropped a Guardians of the Galaxy-like trailer that was like 3 minutes. And everybody kind of watched that trailer and said, huh, this looks interesting. New IP, Guardians of the Galaxy vibe. This could be fun. And then they cut right to like the game developers afterwards, after that trailer, talking about the game. And they said the first words out of their mouth were Concord is a 5v5 hero shooter, and pretty much the entire collective interest in that game completely disappeared. There wasn't like a single person that wanted to hear those words. And as soon as they were heard and they were showing gameplay, everyone said, well, never mind.
Yeah.
Do you remember that? Do you remember watching that trailer? Do you remember?
No, yeah, this is an accurate telling what you're telling. That it did happen, and it's chronicled in our episode we did about the State of Play.
Oh yeah, it was. We said those exact same things.
So you can go back and hear us, and we had that same reaction. Concord was the first game they talked about.
Yep.
So obviously you knew it was something that Sony's very excited about.
They spent like 15 minutes on it.
Yeah. And yeah, that initial, obviously it wasn't gameplay, but just like, cutscene cinematic stuff they were showing of it. It did look like, okay, let's go. A new original Sony game. I like the way this is shaping up. This looks like it could be a cool world they've built here, like a cool new franchise to explore. You got Guardians of the Galaxy vibes. You got a little bit of just like sci-fi, new universe kind of thing. Yeah. And then as soon as it's hero shooter 5 versus 5, I was just like, okay.
Goodbye.
Just because like traditionally not my thing. Haven't ever fallen into that, but that seems to be the way Sony wanted to go, and with this, and they've tried it a few times. We'll talk about it, like the attempts they've made at jumping into this and trying to like grasp onto this success of games like Overwatch and Fortnite or whatever kind of live service game you want to talk about, trying to make their own that could be their own thing.
Yeah. Everybody has.
Yeah.
Everybody has. This is also the year, hopefully this is the year that studios realize that we don't want live service games or games as service. Because Justice League died, or Suicide Squad died. And that was a failure because nobody wanted that game. Did we want a Suicide Squad game from Rocksteady? Probably. A single player Rocksteady Suicide Squad. Suicide Squad wasn't the IP I wanted them following Arkham Knight, but they spent 10 years making a Suicide Squad game, and then they give us a live service game that nobody wanted.
Here's the thing with like, and this is just speaking about, we'll get into Concord obviously and what happened to it, but like speaking in general, I understand Sony's want for this. It makes sense to want a live service game that everybody wants to play, because that is a moneymaker year over year over year over year. Like, look at what Fortnite does. They come out with new seasons, they get new players, they sell, they sell stuff to people who are really into the game. They spend their money on it constantly. Like, I don't even know the daily numbers. I know that game is making money hand over fist. Same thing with games like Call of Duty, which has a built-in fan base. You come out with new seasons to keep people interested, and people have this fear of missing out if they don't get the new one and update, and then you start buying things. Like the money they make on skins, I've read, is like astronomical, and people buying stuff. So Sony wanting to do this is like, okay, you can make a fantastic single player game, which they do, which they have. God of War, stuff like that. Astro Bot, which we'll talk about here in a little bit, is going to be on its way to being one of those games, I think. But those games, your sales get capped at the amount of PlayStation 5s or Xboxes that are out there. You can only sell so many. When you sell a popular live service game, you not only sell people the game, you're selling them now years of extra content that people are just paying. It just keeps making money for you over and over and over again, not
Yeah.
just like the sale of the original game. So it makes sense to want to have that, but people have to want it to start.
Well,
And
and
that's kind of the
it's
problem Concord had.
yeah, and it's that question, but is there room for another one? Like you're not going to take if there are a lot of people out there who only play Call of Duty. They only
Yeah.
play Madden. They only
Uh-huh.
play Fortnite. They only play Apex Legends. You know, like the people who play those types of games, they have their game.
Right.
So like we play Call of Duty. So it's like we've tried and we'll try live service games. I know we both downloaded Valorant to try. We try Overwatch. We'll try them and see if they're fun, but we always go back to what we want, and like there's not enough time in the world for another game that never ends. So
Right.
like once you find your game and you invest that time, like people already have time invested in Fortnite. They're not going to leave it for something else. They're not going to be
True.
like, you know what? I've spent all this time and money in Overwatch 2, but you know what? Here's a new game that's just like it. Let me go now invest in that one. You're like, no, you're not. Like, who are you trying? You're just trying to get the people who don't have a game yet, but the people who don't have a game yet don't want one. So, like,
Yeah.
who are you catering to here?
Well,
Avengers was the same way. Uh,
uh
Avengers was the same way, and um, like I said, Suicide Squad. Like, who are these games for? They're not. You're not making them. Nobody wants those games.
the only thing I'll kind of differ from you on that a little bit is I think people do want those games, but they don't want them when they're just borrowing from every
Right.
other game that's popular. Like not playing Concord. I'm just basing this on what I've read. It takes a lot from Overwatch.
Mhm.
It takes a lot from, other games that are already established and didn't really present
Mhm.
anything new and not new enough for someone to be like, well, this is my game now. No, what
Right.
it had was people being like, I already play Overwatch and I'm already invested in Overwatch and I've been
Yep.
playing Overwatch for years. Why am I going to switch to a game that's just like it? The only game in recent memory that stood a chance to me was Helldivers, which kind of took the gaming world by storm for a good
Yeah.
few months and then had its problems of its own, which is why now you don't hear much about Helldivers anymore. And I kind of think they messed up somewhere in keeping the longevity of that game
Yeah.
alive. Like they had some missteps.
Yeah.
Helldivers, I think, had a chance to be that game and was that game for a little bit. That kind of like this new live service game that is gonna find its niche, and it did. But you know why? Because Helldivers was different.
Yep.
Helldivers played different. It offered a lot of different things that you couldn't do in Overwatch and you couldn't do in Fortnite and you can't do in Call of Duty. It's like these new, unique differences that made that game stand out. So I think Concord suffered from not being original enough to kind of make noise, along with a lot of other problems, which,
Yeah.
there are many,
Yeah.
but it's kind of
And
spelled doom for that game.
yeah, and they knew it was going to happen because they did two betas. So they did a
Mhm.
closed beta for anybody because the first thing they did is normally hero shooters are free to play, and this one was not free to play. This one they wanted to do $40. Now let me ask you before I really keep once again get into Concord because that's what we do. We get talking and then we get lose the lead. But the their whole plan was, hey, you're going to drop $40 for this game. Yes, hero shooters are normally free to play. This one's going to cost 40, but no battle pass, all content, all characters, all levels, everything's free. They were going to add a monetized like skin thing so you could still buy like cosmetics if you wanted,
Mhm.
but everything in the game was going to be included with that $40. So that $40 was supposed to be like all in for life. I'm sure they would have if everything would have went right. I'm sure they would have had like expansions that probably would have cost money, just like Destiny. But their whole plan was pay for this game and get everything. Now, how do you feel about that model? Because a lot of people say that that's what killed it was because normally these games are free to play and that's what everybody wanted. But then at the same time, people also don't want to be monetized to death. So, like, what is the happy medium here?
Well, in my opinion, you can kind of, if a game is free to play, that's just a like no risk way of trying it,
Mhm.
which I think would have benefited this game. Like paying the $40 up front means, all right, now I'm invested. What if it sucks? And it looks like it sucks. So I'm not going to pay $40 to jump in. Now, if it was free, I think a lot more people would have paid. And then if your game is good, you have a section of people who won't mind paying for extras if it's a game that they really want to play and they really enjoy. Um, and I think that's what they kind of should have banked on. Like, if the game is good enough, people are going to give us some money for all this other stuff later on. Let's get the feet in the door. Let's get
Yeah.
our player base up on this free to play model, like all these other games have done. Valorant and Overwatch 2. I know Overwatch 1, I think, costs money, but
I
like
think
Overwatch
Overwatch
2,
2 started with a cost and then they went free to
I
play
think
with it, if I remember.
maybe because I know when I downloaded it, it was
No,
free.
yeah, when we tried Overwatch 2, it was definitely free to play. But I feel like they
Yeah.
changed. I think they went to try to charge and it didn't work out.
Yeah. But basically, the point being, I think the being greedy and thinking people are going to pay this $40 up front for a game that so many free versions of like a similar game are out there was a misstep, you know.
Yeah.
Even saying like, well, the whole everything you do in the future will be free, but it's like, what if I don't want to play it in the future? What if I pay you the $40 and I hate it?
Yeah.
So why? So people like pass, you know what I mean?
Yeah. And when they knew they had to be in trouble, it was they did two betas 2 weeks in a row. And the first beta was a closed beta that was for anyone who pre-ordered the game. So these were people who paid 40 or $60. It might have even been 60, but these were people who paid, pre-ordered the game, they got into the beta, and they were given tokens like where you can invite like 4 or 5 of your friends to play this game to try to increase people. Nobody really knows. I know at some point, like that Sunday, I remember they opened it up to like PlayStation Plus people because I got an email that said I could get in now. So I downloaded it and I tried it and I played one match. And I was like, nope. And I was like, this is just boring. This isn't for me. Sorry. And I noped out and deleted it pretty much immediately. I did one match and I was like, no. The next weekend was the open beta where that was literally anybody could download it for free and play it that weekend. And I know there was lots of news and talk about it that the Steam PC players was like barely touching 2,000 players for a free beta weekend. That's not good. So when your game's going to come out 2 weeks after that and you can't get more than 2,000 people to play for free, now you're going to ask people in 2 weeks to pay $40 for it. Like, where is your audience? Your audience is non-existent.
Yeah, I read somewhere and I like made a note of it that during the peak or during the game's open beta where anyone with a PC could join in for free, it only achieved a peak player count of 2,388 players. And when the game was like out and like a real game to buy, the all-time peak player count on PC was 697 players.
Yeah.
That's bad.
I mean, clearly we're here talking about this game being killed in 2 weeks because of that.
Right.
Nobody wanted to play it. There wasn't a single, there was 700 people on PC and maybe another 700 on PS5. And you couldn't get a match to load. And it just was a disaster, ultimately. And it was a disaster that they kind of had to have seen coming from just lack of enthusiasm post that reveal in March, and then people complaining about the cost, and then no one showing up for the beta. Like, what did you think was going to happen? Like, they couldn't have really thought that it was going to work out.
Yeah, so many things. Like, I kind of feel like even before the game even released, they kind of already knew that this was going to be, they probably didn't know it was going to be that bad as it became, but just like, I didn't see any promotion for this game on TV or online or like ads or billboards or anything. And like mostly like all the time and money Sony put into this game, like 8 years of development and wanting it to be a flagship and their way to have their own game that people will pay for over and over and over. You'd think they put a little more like promo behind it. And I don't know. The only thing I can come up with as to why they didn't is they were like, I don't know about,
we don't want to put more money into it.
Right.
But they needed to put more money into it.
Yeah. But the game already probably cost a ton of money. It's 8 years of development. Games are not cheap.
I want to say there was like the budget was like 150 million or something, 150 or 180 million. And they supposedly sold 25,000 copies on PS5, which is nothing in that budget. And then PC, they did, like I said, they had that first weekend 700 people playing, so you maybe the second weekend there was like 60. Like, it dropped. And now also everyone was playing Black Myth Wukong because it came out at the exact same time, and they had like 2 million people playing on Steam. So it definitely
didn't help this game that game came out and it was like another word of mouth game that a lot of people wanted to play, and a Star Wars game came out also at the same time, like Outlaws or maybe the week before. So like Concord had already been pushed to the back of those two, and you had Astro Bot coming around the corner that had Sony fans more excited for it than it's just a lot of bad luck and bad everything.
Yeah. So Tuesday this week, September or whatever it was, September 4th or September 2nd, I remember you sent me a text. I was sitting in a meeting and it was them. PlayStation blog put out a statement that basically said, we appreciate everyone who tried this game, but we're shutting down the servers Friday, September 6th. We're going to look at our options and see what we can do with Concord. And it's unprecedented. 2 weeks. This game lasted 2 weeks, and they were offering refunds to everybody except for the poor bastards who bought it retail. I mean, they had so much faith in this game, they printed discs.
Yeah, right. It is a hard copy game.
You can get a hard copy of this game, and people did. And now it's like, how many stores are going to take it back? None.
How do you get that refund? You better contact Sony directly and be like, I need my money.
Yeah, I don't know if there's going to be like a clause that a memo that the stores are being told to give refunds for that. I'm trying to remember what they did with Cyberpunk when Cyberpunk was getting all the refunds when that kind of came out and everybody was mad. But yeah, I can't imagine, like, even on their notes, they were just like, retail, just see the return policy for where you bought the game. And you're like, yeah, the return policy where I bought the game says once it's opened, it's mine.
Yeah.
Like, they don't let you return games that are already open. So what am I supposed to do with this thing? And you can't trade into GameStop because GameStop's aware that it's not a game anymore. So they're not going to give you money for it.
No, they're not. It's going to be very complicated getting a refund on that.
So hopefully Sony worked something out with the retailers to be able to, I don't know how many people bought it physically or not, but
yeah. No, you're right. It's unprecedented, man. It's not, I don't think we've ever seen something like this. It's kind of it feels like a cautionary tale to me a little bit about how I invest my dollars in games, to be very weary of stuff like this. Like, just question, like, the next live service game that comes out, are you going to feel confident buying it? Like a new IP that's a live service, any kind of game, knowing that a studio now and a company, Sony, can just shut a game down if it doesn't perform to the, what they didn't even really. I understand they're losing money by having this game out, but they didn't give it another week, another month, 6 months to see if maybe it would find its footing. They were like 2 weeks, no one's playing it, it's done. It makes me nervous kind of to invest in stuff, like this.
One, it makes me nervous. Two, I at least am appreciative that they're offering refunds. Because then if something like this did happen on something that I wanted to play, 3, I would be super bummed if I was that excited to try to play it and I only had 2 weeks with it, and all of a sudden think about the people who did really enjoy this game, and all of a sudden it's just gone. And you're like, hey, I just put 70 hours into Concord over the past 2 weeks and I have nothing to show for it. Like, it's just gone. And you still have the fun, you still have the joy, which is good, but the memories. We all have games. My brother-in-law was sending the memories. My brother-in-law was sending me a text the other day. You remember playing Warhawk on PS3? Man, that shit was awesome. Like, yeah, I think about that game constantly. That game was fun as hell. It was the first online game I really got into. It was amazing. I would play that game in a heartbeat if they brought it back. But it just, it had good memories. It sucks. And that's what you have to go with Concord. So it just, like I said, no, you have to be wary about it. And that's where I hesitated with Justice League or Suicide Squad. It's like, what is this game? Avengers was already killed. So, it's like, I know we played through Avengers mostly. And
I still stand by the story of that game was good. The story
I enjoyed that. I actually, and I was almost thought about it because I saw a video of someone playing Avengers in 2024. And I think that you can still get in and play the game, but they turned off all of they basically just unlocked all of the cosmetics, all the shit that they wanted you to pay for, and they turned off the grind for leveling up. So supposedly it's an amazing game to play now. And I almost thought about downloading it just to try out Spider-Man and do the Black Panther and some of the expansions that I never did.
They added Hawkeye.
Hawkeye. I did one of them. I did one when they did a triple XP weekend. And that was, I had a lot of fun that weekend. And then when they went back to the normal grind, I was like, I don't have time to, this grind is too slow and I'm not going to give you real money. So
Well,
it's such a balancing act with that. But no, to answer your question in a long way, no, I don't feel confident buying any type of free or live service game or any game that follows this type of format because you never know. Or any online only or online multiplayer. I really don't like paying for anyone except for Call of Duty. Call of Duty is probably the only one that I would feel comfortable giving money to. Maybe, I mean, I give money to Destiny too, but
and even Call of Duty, if you just want to play Warzone, that's free.
yeah,
You
I
don't
did,
have to
don't
buy.
have to buy Call of Duty this year if I don't want to,
Yeah.
and still play Modern Warfare 3 and I then still have a very active community. So it's like that confidence is there that I can play that. Outside of that, like I said, I'll try Valorant, I'll try First Descendant, I'll try some of these other live service games that are free to play. I'm not paying for a live service game unless it's Helldivers, apparently.
Yeah.
So I can't say
Oh,
never because I still will.
that was the hype machine of Helldivers, and Helldivers was fun. For
Like
me.
you said, it was different. It was a PVE. It was, you were team based. It was, you were just like, it was just a different vibe. It had a good catch,
It was a
a
fun
good
it was a
hook.
fun experience. Yeah.
Yeah, I had fun playing it. Once again, it kind of falls back around to, I don't, is there enough there to really keep my interest to keep playing over and over again? And I've never been the type of person that falls too heavily into that. Like even when we would play, we do a couple rounds and we're like, all right, go back to Call of Duty. Okay, cool. And we go back.
And even then, even when we play Call of Duty, we still fall back heavily on our single player adventure, like epic games for the most part. Like Call of Duty's fun to have in the back pocket when we want to play together. But I mean, the funnest game experiences we have, of course, playing with your friends is fun, but it's like the experience of these epic solo single player games
Yeah.
still cannot be matched in my mind. Like
Nope.
as much as you want to push multiplayer games, love them, they're fun as a group, but I need my single player games, which we'll talk about.
Yeah.
One coming up. But my last question before we get off of Concord,
I had one question too. So ask.
okay. Maybe it's the same question.
Maybe.
We'll see. But I know in that blog release, one of the things they said is that they kind of gave the feeling like we're shutting it down. We don't know what we're going to do with this game. That's kind of a TBD is kind of what I got out of that. We'll see what happens in the future. This game comes back, let's say, free to play. Is that a good idea or is this game just doomed? Like, let's say it comes back free to play and still nobody wants to play it. Like, even not paying money, people are like, no, still pass, bad taste in my mouth. Is that a bad idea? Like, will that double embarrass Sony? Like, this game can potentially bomb twice. Like, I almost feel like they don't want that bad PR of being like, we tried to bring it back, even free, nobody wanted this damn game, and that just puts a bad taste in people's mouth. What do you think about
you
that?
You can't bring it back. It's
you can't
tainted.
bring it back, right?
It's
You
tainted.
can't.
It's got the stink. You can't get rid of it. It's got the BO, like it's the beast.
Yeah.
There's just
what
nothing.
is this?
I can't say that they won't try to do free to. I mean, free to play is their only real option that they have to try to make it free to play and try to get people to play. The problem is you have a, and maybe this is a benefit too in its own way. You have a large chunk of gamers that didn't even know what this game was. I sent one of our buddies that text about the game shutting down, and he responded, "I've never heard of that game." So you do have a large group of people that if you actually promoted it as a free to play game with the level of polish that it did have, there's a chance. The other side of it that you have is there was a very big toxic element to why people weren't playing this game. I don't know how far that reached, and I would like to think that it didn't really come too heavily into play. Like the people that were being toxic were never going to play it. So like, I don't, that's all stupid stuff to me, but it still has that stink on it that I don't know. There were a lot of complaints about the character designs, and if the character designs aren't changed, is that enough? I don't know. I don't know what type of polish they would need to put on this or what they would need to change outside of making it free, but I think it's got the stink on it. The people who know about it are going to laugh when they try to bring it back, and the people who don't know about it are still not going to care unless they did a full marketing push, and Sony's not going to spend the money that it's going to take to actually reinvent this game, and they'll do a tax write-off The only thing I can think of is that I watched a video, and I'm not pulling this out of my ass, but I was watching a video about this, and they said that they could do it. Basically, Sony could do a tax write-off for this game up until March of 2024 when the fiscal year ends. So, like, they might try to do like a free-to-play around Christmas and see if it works, and if not, they could shut it down again and do a tax write-off and get some money back. So maybe they might try, but I don't know what their options are at this point. I think it's toxic. I think it's
Yeah,
unfortunately, I know there's a lot of people who did a lot of work, and I know it sucks that people are going to lose their job. And like, there's so much horribleness that comes out of this, but it's once again, it's game developers being more of a business than an artist, and they want to, how much money can we make? And they just try to follow the trends, and following the trends, and you have to be a trend setter. You follow trends, and you're nothing. Nobody cares about you. You have to be a developer. You have to be a trend setter, create something new. Just doing what other people do and expecting the same results is stupid.
Especially with this, a trend that was from a decade ago almost. Like, you're trying to make Overwatch your own Overwatch. You're like, that 8 years of development, the trend fell off. It's not
Overwatch isn't even Overwatch anymore.
Right. It's not in demand like it once was. Like, I agree. I agree.
So I don't think so. Do you think it's a comeback?
No, I don't. I think it's just dead. Just focus. Just like, you got enough money, turn your attention to something else.
Write it off and call it.
Yeah, learn your lesson from this, and come back with something better.
No, I totally want to talk about the Black Ops beta, but before we dive in and give our thoughts on that, I really want to share my thoughts on something that's been like a total game changer for me. And I know we're talking about new controllers and video games. It's not that. But it does help me stay sharp when I'm trying to game and play all these games and get this stuff in. And it's this little productivity hack called Magic Mind. I've been using it for a while now, and I know we've talked about it here on the show, but it's been a total lifesaver. You know how we all rely on coffee to keep us going? Well, Magic Mind gives me all the benefits of staying energized and focused, but without that jittery, crash and burn feeling. I've noticed that if I have too much coffee, I get super anxious and get all fired up with my ADHD, so not having that feeling is kind of almost refreshing and new for me. And, with Astro Bot coming out this week and the need to collect every single bot, that's going to take some time, and I need to be focused if I'm going to get through some of those boss fights in Astro Bot, which we're going to talk about here in a second. But Magic Mind helps keep my mind sharp. It's packed with natural ingredients like matcha, nootropics, and one of my new favorites, ashwagandha. Ashwagandha has been great for helping me manage my anxiety. You know how stressful it could be balancing gaming, work, and everything else. I've really noticed that this stuff has helped me stay calm and focused, which I'm kind of becoming obsessed with. But here's the real power up. If you subscribe with our code, Magic Mind gets delivered right to your door every month. No need to worry about running out. Right before our next big gaming session, there's always some in your pantry ready for you. Plus, it's free shipping with every order, and you can cancel anytime, no questions asked. If you use our code RaisedAGeek20, you'll get 20% off your subscription. And here's the kicker. If you combine that with a subscription discount, it knocks the price down to under $3 a bottle. Way better than grabbing a coffee before trying to conquer the next level. Seriously, whether you're taking on a boss fight in Astro Bot or grinding through a multiplayer match, Magic Mind might just be the boost you need to stay focused and win the day. Seriously, I want you guys to give it a try. Head on over to magicmind.com/RaisedAGeek. Use our code RaisedAGeek20, save 20% off a single order, or sign up for a subscription and get up to 48% off with that same code. All of that information is in the description in this episode, so make sure you check it out. Definitely, highly recommend. So, Don, Black Ops beta, let's go.
Well, and on the same day that Concord got shut down, we got the open beta weekend for Call of Duty Black Ops 6. Last weekend was the closed beta for people who pre-ordered. We did not pre-order, so we jumped into the free beta yesterday and did a few rounds just to kind of get a feel for the new Omni movement system and just Call of Duty Black Ops beta. So, Don, what did you think about the beta overall? Quickly, I don't see there's much that we could talk about for this.
No, not much from just playing it. And you said yesterday I just played my first 3 rounds with you 30 minutes ago.
Yeah. We snuck in a couple before we podcasted just so you could have so we could talk about it. So we're like, let's do 2 rounds real quick. You can get a feel for it. I did maybe 3 or 4 the night before. So
okay, yeah. I mean, talking about these community games, and we've talked about it. Like we try to dip our toe into different ones, but at the end of the day, it always comes back to like, we're Call of Duty guys when it comes to games like that. So obviously, people who follow Call of Duty know they come out with a new game every year. It goes back and forth between Warfare games and Black Ops games, and you sprinkle in different ones every now and then, like a World War II game or something still.
I don't think they're going to go back to World War II anytime
I
soon.
don't think so either. Sometimes they have Advanced Warfare. Didn't they have a couple of those where it's like a little more future? I don't know if they'll do those anymore either. Feels like Black Ops and Modern Warfare are their two big ones. Um, but yeah, Black Ops 6. I'm more of a Modern Warfare guy, I think, because as we were discovering while playing this beta a little while ago, they do operate on two different engines. They have like different developers working on these two games, so they're both Call of Duty games, but there's a different feel. I think I do prefer the Modern Warfare engine, but Black Ops, the big hype this year, obviously, like you said, is the Omni movement, which frightened me when I first started seeing the clips and the videos, and even from the beginning, them being like, months ago when they announced or Omni movement, and I saw it, I was like, oh God, here we go. I already feel slow enough in Call of Duty nowadays. Now you're telling me that all these twitchy finger, young keyboard, mouse, not even console players, like all these young kids who love this quick movement and jumping and sliding and dashing around, like now you're giving them even more of an advantage over me. Like, come on, like, but I don't know. We tried it and it's not as drastic as I thought it was going to be. It's just a little more, quick. It makes you a little quicker. It's not like, you can run 100 miles an hour now and everybody's just dashing around the screen. You can't see anybody. It still feels like Call of Duty. It just gives you a little more freedom in your movements, like
a little bit more
side to
nimbleness,
side,
a little bit quicker.
Yeah, you can run side to side now, run backwards, dive around, aim around. So my initial impression is it's not as bad as I thought it was going to be. I think I will adjust. I'm still going to be dog shit. I mean, I'm still dog shit.
Yeah, we're not good at this game.
Right.
We just play it as an excuse to hang out and
I'm not gonna. It's not gonna make me any better. If anything, it'll make me worse. But yeah, I mean, am I gonna buy Black Ops 6? Probably, just because it's my multiplayer game, and if one of you buys it, like you or our other friend who plays religiously, then of course I'm gonna buy it. But yeah, we'll see how it kind of translates to Warzone 2, that Omni movement. That'll be interesting. But it's okay, and we just kind of had our first round today was a little rough, and I was like, oh no. But then our second round, we both dominated. So I was like, oh, wait, maybe I do like this.
Yeah, we were 1 and 2, and we were featured, and we're like, okay, this is cool. Okay.
I guess, it depends on the round you have. You're only as good as your last round. But, I think it'll be fine. What's your impressions of this new stuff? And
it was the same way. When I played yesterday, I was kind of like, I don't know, and I'm getting whooped on a Friday night, and then, like I said, playing Saturday afternoon with you and getting, falling in the top 3 2 times in a row and doing good and winning rounds. I'm like, okay, I like this. So it's one of those things. I like it when I'm doing good, and I hate it when I'm doing bad. So
sure.
I'm sure. I mean, there's a very small doubt that I wasn't going to buy it just because, like you said, I buy it, everyone, and they'll like I told you while we were playing, they'll be like, Nuketown is this weekend. Oh, gotta buy it, gotta do Nuketown.
Yeah.
I do always like the Black Ops campaigns, and I like the fact that they are doing zombies and they're bringing back round-based zombies. So it's just the waves of zombies, and you're just getting stronger and stronger and doing that, and I think that with the Omni movement could be a lot of fun. So I was watching some zombie videos and stuff, and I'd really like to get into that a little bit more. So I'm sure I enjoyed it. And I'm kind of, like I said, sitting here going, all right, do a couple more rounds of that today.
Yeah, I mean, bottom line, we're Call of Duty guys.
Yeah.
So we're gonna play, whether we like to admit it or not. We're gonna play.
Yeah, but you know what else I am, and I discovered it this weekend. I'm an Astro Bot boy.
Oh boy.
Because Astro Bot came out on Friday, which was they've technically done 3. They did one, the original Astro Bot was done in VR, PSVR, which I didn't play because I never bought VR.
And never will.
And then when you bought a PS5, it came prepackaged with an Astro Bot kind of game, like learn the new controller. And it was like this big, like almost love story to, like, you're almost like playing in a PlayStation museum. It had all of these like little like Easter eggs about the PlayStation, like throughout the years. And that was, I mean, like, it came prepackaged, and it was a awesome way to spend a couple hours. And I mean, it's still to this day the only game that I think I've played. Maybe Ratchet and Clank is the only other one where like felt like they actually used the controller to its maximum capacity. So then at that same state of play in March, they ended the show. They started it with Concord, and they ended it with Astro Bot, which is kind of funny because they came out now on the same. One died and one came out on the same day. So that's kind of funny. But they ended it with this just 2-minute trailer of Astro Bot, which was just a platformer where you play as a little robot. And that trailer, I sat there for 2 minutes and felt nothing but joy. And I said, yep, that's pretty much going to be a day one. And then this week, Thursday, the review embargo dropped. And my timeline just became, this game is a masterpiece, 10 out of 10, 10 out of 10, 10 out of 10, 10 out of 10, 7.5 out of 10. What's wrong with you? 10 out of 10, 10 out of 10.
Game of the year. Game of the year already. Game of the
year. This is like the best game since Mario 64. Like, what are you talking about? And then we got it, and I played it, and oh my God, I love this game.
Well, yeah, before don't shoot it to me. I want to hear your thoughts first on.
No, this was just like everything, like the dopamine hits great. Like, it's been a while since I played just a straight up platformer. Like, you're just going level to level. You go to the planet, you do a level, and it's just, here's all the robots that you can connect. You're out there trying to save your robot friends that crash landed and got separated all through space. And it's just like, get your couple puzzle pieces, get however many robots are in this, just run through the level and find the secrets. The levels aren't too long. They're inventive. They give you different tools. Like, it's just it's like an old school platformer game. And it's made me realize how much I've missed those types of games. Just sitting there playing Donkey Kong Country, we just play levels. It's working. Like I said, the dopamine hits good. You're getting enough collection while you're playing. And then you hit the end of a level and you're like, okay, do I want to do one more? Do I want to stop? It's just nice. And then it's got the same like PlayStation like nostalgia that's running through it. It's got all the controller quirks with the movement and the triggers, and just like, I'm having a blast playing this game. I've gotten through, maybe played an hour or two. I've gotten through not even the full like first world, but I've kind of done everything that I can do so far up through the first boss. So, and I went back to all the planets and got all of the little robots, and I've gold flagged everything so far.
Yeah.
Up through the first boss.
So you're enjoying it.
I'm enjoying Astro Bot a lot.
Yeah.
That's all I want to do. That's all I've thought about this whole time we've been talking.
I wish I was playing it right now.
Yeah.
It's really fun. I'm with you. It was the highlight of the state of play. Just sitting there like eyes wide open, drooling, like, oh my God, looks amazing. And getting my hands on it this week, bought it, first day, played it a few hours today like you, and Jesus, man, like, I forgot how much fun a platforming game is. And this is the kind of game we learn to love video games on. Like, these are the games from our childhood. We played platformers.
Used to be the only type of game that existed.
Yeah, we played Mario and Sonic and Donkey Kong and Crash Bandicoot and
Castlevania,
Jack and Daxter and all the games throughout the years. And like, these were just the games that we loved and were the main games. Like, as we've gotten older, we like more serious adult games like Souls games and God of War and things. And those games are awesome too. But like, getting back to your roots of a platform game that is really good just feels good. It's like
real good.
You don't have to think hard. You don't have to read a ton of dialogue. Like, there's no talking in this game. Nobody talks. They just show you how to do things real quick, and you just do them. And the robot makes little cute sounds, and you just play.
And they come out of your controller, like all the footsteps. It comes out of your controller speaker.
Right. And sitting down and playing a Final Fantasy game or something where you're reading for hours is fun too. But just like, sometimes I just want to break from that. And just the gameplay of this is fun. The running and jumping, all you need to know how to do is run, jump, punch, and use your special abilities and learn things, and it's just so simplistic but like so awesome at the same time. This game is so fun. And I can barely even describe it. I'm like having so much fun with it. And I already know what my downfall of this game is going to be. I'm having a problem with getting to the end of the level and not getting one of those bots or not finding something and it being missing. And then I have to immediately go back in and find it. Like I can't not complete a level. And I know you can go back and get them later, but in my mind, I was like, I want to clear this thing 100% before I move on to my next thing. That's
well,
just
you saw the little thing that you can buy, right?
The thing that'll like point it out as you're going on your second play. Yeah. It's not, or he's just there at the beginning.
He's there at the beginning. No, it's when you go back to the planet, then there's that little bird.
Right.
You purchase him, and then he points you to all the secrets as you run through the level again.
Is it a purchase, or I thought he was
it's 200 coins each time.
Oh, I didn't even
realize. It's 200 coins
that.
the first time, and then every time you go back to that level, you just have him.
Oh, okay.
So it's just a way to clear the level. You don't have to purchase them. It's completely optional, but I like that because I don't like just wandering aimlessly.
Yeah.
Like I go through the first time, and I try to go through as heavy as I can. So if I miss anything, I'm never going to find it.
Right.
You know, like I feel like I looked out through all the nooks and crannies that I can. So then it's like, okay, if I'm going to go back to get the last one robot that I couldn't find, I need this bird to tell me where it is. And there were even times where the bird was pointing, and I'm like, I don't know what the fuck you're doing. And I had to hit the hint thing in the PlayStation because this is one of the first games that that actually has videos for all of them too. So you can go in and look at the hints in your PlayStation menu and be like, Robot 4 on the ice cream planet. And I go and I watch the video and I go, that's how they do it. And I go do it and I still feel good about it. So
right. Yeah.
It's not taking anything away from me to be told. No. I don't need to discover it on my own.
This game also like is going to have me searching for those nooks and crannies on each level because, you know, you go through and you get to the end like, how did I miss 2 robots?
Yeah.
How did I miss one of those microchips? Like, all right, I guess I got to go back and keep my eyes peeled the whole entire time. Like, oh, there's a path over there I didn't see.
Yeah.
Like, oh, there's a place to jump up over here that I didn't see. Like, yeah, man, just it's really fun. It's kind of rekindling my original love for a platform game, which has been sorely missing, I think, for a long time. The last really good one I played was probably Sackboy, and that was like at the beginning of PlayStation's life cycle.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm looking forward to this.
Yeah, this adventure. Well, one thing I really like is that they almost really leave you. It has a good balance of like discovery. So like there's sometimes you kind of hit a wall and you're like, wait, what am I supposed to do here? And you play with it for a little bit, and then it'll pop up like instructions. But even the instructions are still kind of like not.
Like pushing those green walls.
Yeah.
It took me forever. To figure out.
I was staring at the screen too. Like, I don't like, what is that picture telling me? Like, because they don't fully tell you. It's almost like,
no, they don't.
They're just like,
there's no talking. So
so they're like, here's a picture of what you're supposed to do. But I'm like, I don't know what that is. The controller's just shaking. I don't know what's happening.
All right.
So yeah, but I like the fact that they kind of let you discover it and just try things. And there's been a couple times where something's just on the screen when I'm flying around the map, and I'm just like, what's that? And I go to it, and all of a sudden it opens up a whole other level, and I'm like, oh shit, cool.
Yeah.
Just lots of little things like that.
It also helps that you have unlimited lives, so you don't have to worry about, dying and having to start over. It's like I can take my time, and if something kills me, it kills me. If I fall off the edge trying to do something, I'm okay. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing.
Has Astro Bot already taken over as PlayStation's mascot? Like Nintendo has Mario, Sega of course always had Sonic. Like Sony's guy for a long time was Crash Bandicoot. When's the last Crash Bandicoot thing? Is like, but Sony also has a lot of other people you could choose from, Jak and Daxter or
yeah, but when was the last Jak and Daxter game? Ratchet and Clank has always kind of been there. Nathan Drake from Uncharted has always been there. Kratos is there. I mean, all of them are.
But he's like the adult one. You need a cartoony guy. Like, no, Astro Bot that
100%.
Yeah, I think he is now, and they want him to be. Like, they make these games very Sony centric. You're flying around on a fucking controller. I mean, come on. They want him to be the face.
Your spaceship is a PS5.
Right.
And did you, in the beginning, when that alien showed up and ripped that PS5 apart, did your part of your soul die watching that PS5 get ripped apart?
Like, no.
I was like, oh my God, that's $500.
Right.
I was like imagining someone just ripping open my PS5, and I felt so sad for the little Astro Bots.
Those things aren't cheap.
They're
You
not.
jerk.
They're not. And depending on where you live, they're getting more expensive instead of cheaper.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, like I said, it's all I've thought about since I started playing it yesterday, and even playing it today. I had to force myself to stop because otherwise I really wasn't going to.
Yeah.
And it like you mentioned, I hate the fact that this game and the Call of Duty beta is the same weekend. I hate it.
Yeah, that's rough.
I hate
That
it.
is rough because I should be playing as much Black Ops as I can right now while it's the beta and be like, help me make my decision for me if I should invest in this game, but I can't. It's hard because I just want to play Astro Bot.
Yeah. So I'm like, all right, well, I'm going to play Astro Bot until like we decide like it's Call of Duty time. And then I'm like, all right, I'll switch.
Yeah.
I'll switch.
Call of Duty is for late night when we're feeling a little low and dark.
Nights, Call of Duty nights.
Call of Duty nights.
Exactly. The sun, I can't play Call of Duty when the sun's up.
Yeah, it's
sun's
hard.
still up.
For a while.
A little bit, not too much longer. But yes, Astro Bot, I mean, I really have no doubts that when we get a couple more months further along and we start talking about our favorite things of 2024, I'm going to be surprised if Astro Bot's not on it.
Oh, I think it's pretty already 1 hour, 2 hours of gameplay, and I'm already kind of there. So yeah, I would not doubt that at all.
Because it's just fun.
Yeah,
like I said, the dopamine hits good, man. Mm-hmm. Things that they make you do, and the collection, and I just feel good. And it's been a while since I played a video game where I just felt good and I had fun. I spent a large chunk of this year trying to force myself to play Final Fantasy Rebirth, and then I get a game like this where I'm just like, wait, games are supposed to be fun. I'm supposed to be enjoying myself, and I'm not gonna play games anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just not having fun with just because I feel like I should play it.
Yeah, life's too short for that, man. You gotta enjoy yourself.
Yeah. And I'm enjoying the hell out of Astro Bot. I'm enjoying the hell out of Black Ops Beta, and I'm never gonna see Concord again. I'm enjoying the hell of watching, the craziness, the unprecedented. I'm not enjoying Concord's failure because that leads to people's jobs and that sucks. But yeah, it's unprecedented and that's crazy. But Astro Bot, leaving on a high.
Leave it on a high note. That's our state of the video game world at this moment that we just had to get our thoughts out about. So I'm glad we could.
It's been a big week. It's been a big week in video games. A lot happening, and we wanted to talk about it because we're excited about a lot of it. And how can you not, like I said, Concord disaster, how do you not talk about it? So that's what we did. Let us know what you did this week. Did you pick up Astro Bot? Are you in the Black Ops beta? Were you one of the players one of the 600 people that were playing Concord? Let us know, and you know how to do that by hitting us up on the social media over at Raised A Geek, or you can shoot us an email at raisedageek@gmail.com. Let us know, and let us know where you're writing in from, just so we can give you a proper shout-out on the show. But I think it's time for us to go play some Astro Bot. So that's going to do it for us this week. So for Raised A Geek, I'm Chris.
And I'm Don.
And thanks for checking out the show.
Where geek is all we speak.